know so well. What does the addition of Maxx Crosby mean in Baltimore?
It's a continuation on the point that we just made. It's because the Ravens did not have what seems to be the most important thing in defensive football is someone who can get pressure without blitzing on a quarterback. That defense was held back. I think they have incredible talent on the second level, incredible talent in the secondary that's going to be unlocked by Maxx Crosby's ability to get after the pass rush, to get after the passer, and you don't lose anything against the run, which is important to that Ravens team.
Now, as I mentioned in the open, the Ravens tooketh, but they also gaveth away. They've lost some people. We can put it up on the screen. They get Crosby, but yesterday, day one of free agency was not so kind to them. They lose three-time Pro Bowl center Tyler Linderbaum. He leaves for the Raiders. Two tight ends, including Isaiah Likely, out the door. And all-pro punter Jordan Stout left to become. Jordan Stout becomes the highest-paid punter in the game. Leave it to John Harbaugh. His first big move with the Giants to go out and get themselves a punter, which is a good one. But so the question is, Dan, I mean, right off the top of one's head, you say, okay, they got Maxx Crosby. They're already so good. They have Lamar. The Ravens are the team to beat. And then yesterday, they start losing pieces. So does that change your perspective on them in any way?
No. Listen, Baltimore and Buffalo, and I know Baltimore fans, and I obviously make the comment yesterday like, hey, there's no more excuses. You got to go get it done. Baltimore and Buffalo are in the same world, and it's because of their quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Like last year, Josh Allen, do you have enough? Yes. Stop. We got to stop asking that question. Now, there's a reality where losing Linderbaum and the interior of their offensive line is going to have to get remade relatively quickly here without a first-round pick. I think they need to add another pass catcher as well, losing Isaiah Likely. But Baltimore and Buffalo, for the foreseeable future, there isn't really any wiggle room. You're great enough. Good organizations, great quarterbacks. There's always going to be a hole or two. But this addition certainly puts them very much so in they're the team to beat conversation. There's no doubt about it.
Well, you just literally were talking about the pass rusher and how important that player is and maybe the impact that he has on everybody else on a defense.
Right. I think that defense is going to take pressure. I think Dan's right. The interior of the O-line needs to be remade. Lamar Jackson is talented enough, I think, to overcome some of that stuff, but he won't have to overcome as much of it if that defense turns out to be top 5 in the league, which I think they have the potential to be if Maxx Crosby is the same level that we expect him to be.
It's a significant reset. And look, it's not nothing to say they need 2 guards and a center. I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
They have a first-time head coach. They have a first-time offensive play caller. Like, there's a lot of unknowns about this Ravens team, a team that we're used to just sort of saying, oh, they're a contender every single year. They have work to do.
But look, when you have Lamar Jackson as your quarterback and when you have Josh Allen as your quarterback, that should automatically put you in the conversation of contender, but the moves go flying around. Shefty, go.
Well, the thought occurred to me yesterday as you're talking about the Baltimore Ravens here. This league is set up to make it harder for the teams that have won to win again. The Baltimore Ravens took some hits yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles took hits yesterday. The good teams took hits and lost talent. And the teams that are on the bottom came up, which is how the league wants to do it. And the teams that are on the top lost talent and may have taken a step back. Now, there's plenty of time in the offseason for these great front offices in Baltimore and Philadelphia to regroup, reassess the field, find free agent values, hit on draft picks. But it's almost like the progress you made, the league is pulling you back to the rest of the pack with the way they set up the salary cap. It's just how it's done.
And I would just add that, like, obviously, yesterday was incredible in terms of the volume of activity, and we react to it accordingly. But the great front offices, the Baltimores, the Philadelphias, the Seattles, know that they're just getting started, and they have months and months and months to answer and solve these problems.
Right, but the Ravens, of course, traded away.
Somebody said to me, they're not playing Sunday. Okay,
right.
They're playing in about 6 months.
Right. That's right. But the Ravens did, I'll remind you, they traded away their first-round pick. We talked about it on First Draft on the podcast the other day. They had the 14th pick in the draft. There's no way in the world they were getting a player in that spot nearly as impactful as Maxx Crosby is going to be on that team for a year or two or longer. Now, the question is the money and all of the different things that fly into all of that. They also, by the way, for the first time in a long time, I think we are conditioned to say that's a great division, right? It's a great division. Well, Orlovsky, let me show you. If we could put up a D18, despite losing all the people that they have, DraftKings has the Ravens right now as the favorites in the AFC. And that may be because if you look at the division that Buffalo plays in and you look at the division that Kansas City plays in, all of a sudden Baltimore, Pittsburgh, I mean, what are they doing? At this point, it's not clear anyone knows. Cleveland is Cleveland. The Bengals, are they going to get markedly better? The defense has been terrible. They had a good day yesterday. But all of a sudden, that division doesn't feel nearly anything like what we have thought it to be for a long time.
At this point, I think those odds are based on the way that we perceive the teams in the offseason. Right now, the Bills' offseason hasn't been as glorious as you would want it to be.
Right.
What the Ravens did, they made a big move for an impact player. The Bills, they traded for a receiver that I'm not sure that we think is a true number 1X. They threw their old coach under the bus, and they have a lot of issues to address on their defensive side of the ball. So I think that it's fair, especially considering the division, to think of the Ravens as being in better position than those other two teams.
Dan,
right now.
go.
Yeah, I still think the Buffalo Bills have had a good offseason. I still think the addition of DJ Moore is super impactful for their offense. These organizations are in lockstep with each other, and these quarterbacks are in lockstep with each other. We are never going to give them the amount of leeway that we probably should because they are both great players. The season doesn't start today, and yes, there's additions that are going to get made, but if you asked everybody that has followed football on a consistent basis, who do you think has a legit chance to get to the Super Bowl out of the AFC? Baltimore and Buffalo are going to be in your top 4 or 5 teams until the quarterbacks are not there or they take a steady decline in their play. So I think Maxx Crosby is one of the most impactful defensive players in football. I understand he's coming off injury. Unless you've watched the Raiders, you don't understand how good this dude is. Sure. He's a destructive force. Everything that we said about Micah Parsons last year going to Green Bay, we should be saying about Maxx Crosby going to Baltimore. He's a destructive force. It's one of the most impactful additions you can make in the NFL. So let's not minimize who he is or what he can do for this football team.
Yeah.
What he can't do is play guard.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's the so the Ravens think Maxx Crosby is going to be a better player for them than he was for the Raiders, who never have a lead. Right. And now if you're the Ravens and you can play with a lead, then your pass rush gets better, obviously. So they think he'll elevate beyond that. It's a good move, but it's out of character for them to trade away first-round picks. A successful team going away from its plan and its model that has worked for it, always a little bit raises question marks, and they still have work to do to put together that roster.
Final word.
That's the most interesting thing about this time of year is who has the guts to go ahead and go out on a limb and make a risky decision. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. But I think to Dan's point, the Ravens are at a point with Lamar Jackson and at a point with this trajectory where they're like, look, I would rather make this decision and then and it not work out 5 years from now and look back and say, at least we tried, than continue to follow this same model and then be like, damn, I sure wish we would have traded away some first-round picks and got a real impact. Yeah. I love when teams are able to make that aggressive move. I like the DJ Moore move. I think it's less impactful than the Maxx Crosby move. But anytime a team is willing to break the model a little bit and get aggressive and put your neck on the line, I respect it.
Me too. The Ravens and Bills have had a ton of wins. Yeah. And they have nothing to show for it, unfortunately. It's time to go.
Out there right out loud.
I think Nick is wearing the same suit. The same suit. I don't know if we planned that or not. Here we go with What Does D-Fox Say? Let's fly through them. We have so much going on. Neek, the Rams have made a bunch of aggressive moves. Is it Super Bowl or bust for LA this year?
Absolutely. I feel like as long as Matt Stafford is there, it's Super Bowl or bust. And they made aggressive moves in the secondary. I think pairing up or bringing back a pair that was together in Kansas City and McDuffie and Jalen Watson is a perfect pair that complement each other well. There's the only weakness on this Rams team was their secondary. I think they got a lot better there with the corners. And this team, I think, is clearly right now the front runner in the NFC.
I love the aggressiveness that they move with, and we'll see. They were obviously on the doorstep a year ago. Next one, fill in the blank. Jalen Phillips for huge money to Carolina means what?
Yeah, I think that the edge rusher is becoming the new quarterback in that the price is getting so high for a good edge rusher that you have a huge advantage if you can get one on a rookie deal. So looking at the draft, those edge rushers that are coming out in the draft right now, and Bain and Reese, those guys are incredible. I think that what they're going to mean to their team, the amount of money that they will save by having the impact there, I think it's going to be a huge advantage for any anyone who's trying to build a roster.
David Bailey is another one. That's a very interesting way of looking at it. You're right. You look at the impact that Micah Parsons had. I know he got hurt, but until he got hurt, he completely changed things. The really top-level edge rusher sort of impacts the game almost that much. I like that take a lot. Last one. It's going back to last week, but it's the team you